everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kat and I make videos about books, writing and every other random thing living rent-free in my neurodivergent brain. Today I am celebrating, celebrating Mental Health May. This is hosted on YouTube by Middle of the Book March and Marilyn Maya Mendoza. I will link their channels below. And on top of that, this is also a video that's part of my readings for the Asian Readathon that is organized by Cindy from With Cindy. Also, I will link all the information below. I even put my brand new Sailor Moon t-shirt in honor of the Asian Readathon. So, Mental Health May. I took my vacation in May, which was very fitting. I had a lot of free time to read and relax and take care of myself. The theme of Mental Health May this year is self-care, so that was absolutely perfect. And one thing I did was do a jigsaw puzzle while listening to audiobooks. For me, this is the most relaxing activity ever. This is the best way of reading that I know. I'm fully aware that this is not the case for everyone. It's not gonna be everyone's favorite. I know that. But for me, it's just the best experience. I absolutely love it. And so that's the activity I did in honor of Mental Health May. I will insert some footage and then I will talk about the books I read while doing that puzzle. The first audiobook I listened to while doing my puzzle was Gone by Min Kim. This is a memoir about Min Kim's journey as a virtuoso violinist and a child prodigy. At a very young age, she took on violin and absolutely fell in love with it. She was exceptionally gifted at it and so became a professional violinist. In this book, she talks a lot about her relationship with the violin, the fact that it's almost like a child, like there is a comparison even physically, the fact that it's kind of almost cradled in her arms, but at the same time that it's something a bit different. I thought that was very interesting. I love to learn more about the world of violin, the instrument, the artistic scene, and also her experience as a child prodigy. It feeds very much into the cliche of the genius, very talented individual that we see a lot in our culture, which, to be honest, I'm not a massive fan of, because I think that narrative tends to erase all the hard work that usually goes into it. Min Kim does talk a lot about the work that she's put in, like all the hours and all the effort and the dedication. I thought that was fascinating, but she also calls herself a child prodigy. I think it's probably like a very specific experience for her that she can't share with a lot of people, so that's her way of kind of drawing that difference. So in the context of this book, it didn't really bother me that much, but as a general narrative, I feel that, again, this image of the naturally talented, gifted genius that doesn't have to do anything to reach the peak of their talent, I don't think is always very realistic and helpful, but I might be wrong. I think most people that we call geniuses have put, again, a huge amount of work into their craft, and that's how they reached that level. Like, obviously they likely had an amount of talent that's non-negligible, but it's not the whole picture. And I think it's in Outliers, or if it's in the Critic of Outliers, I don't remember because I read it a very long time ago, but just this idea of how much luck plays into all of this as well. The fact that Min Kim encountered the violin at such a young age is like a deciding factor in her being the genius that she is today. Same for a lot of other people. The fact that Bill Gates had access to a computer when he was young and could spend I think almost an unlimited amount of hours on it when it was not available to the vast majority of people. I've seen that in other books as well. Anyway, I digress. So back to Gone by Min Kim. The crux of the story is her violin got stolen and all the trauma that this caused because, again, of the incredibly strong relationship she had with her instrument and all the consequences that unfolded from that event. I think you really feel the tragedy that it represents to her, and to her it's almost like losing a limb, and I thought that was described very well. Like, I was really feeling for her. It was also very interesting to see how that impacted her relationships, the financial implications as well, because it's an instrument that was worth like £1 million or something like that, like hugely expensive. And so it raises the question of like, how do musicians afford such instruments? How do they travel with them? How do they live with them? I thought that was fascinating. I learned a lot and really enjoyed this. I also love stories about people who are incredibly good at their craft, so that was definitely the case here. I just find it immensely fascinating, and I have to say I was also a bit jealous of her having found her one thing, her passion, from so early in her life. Having something to fully dedicate yourself to is something that I find desirable. I don't think that would be the case for everyone, but it's something I've wanted for many years, like finding that one thing I would be excellent at and that I would love with all my heart. And it seems that it's just not the way that I function. I have a lot of different interests. I love novelty. I love to dive into something and then change to something else and maybe cycle back to the first thing later on. That has definitely happened, but I don't think I'm the kind of person, potentially due to my neurodivergence, or potentially just like due to my personality, but it seems that I'm not the kind of person to do just one thing. So maybe that's also why I have such a fascination for people who have that one passion, that one talent, that one thing that attracts all of their energy and attention. Overall, I thought it was a very good book. I really enjoyed it. The one thing I was slightly not disappointed, because I didn't really have that expectation come into it, but there are like a couple of times in the audiobook when they put a little bit of music in the background, and I wish they would have done that more, because there are a number of times when she's talking about a specific piece of music, a specific composer or musician, and I wanted to listen at the same time. I wished, because of the audio format of the book, it feels like it's the perfect medium. I wish they had leaned into that much more and blended things way more and included way more music into it. I think that would have made the experience of that audiobook absolutely amazing. It was still like a great experience, but I think that would have been one way to make it truly excellent. Next, I read I'll Be the One by Lyla Lee. I thoroughly enjoyed this. This is a YA contemporary novel about Sky, who is Korean American, and she is fat, but she's very happy with the way her body looks. She has great self-confidence. She is a singer and a dancer, and she enters a reality TV idol type of show. As I said, I really enjoyed this. I thought the reality TV setup made the book very bingeable. I wanted to know what happens and kept listening and listening. I didn't want to put it down basically throughout the whole book. I felt that the plot at times was either a little bit too predictable or a little bit over the top, borderline not believable. Overall, it was really not an issue to my enjoyment of the book. I thought it was really fun. I really loved Sky's character. I loved her self-confidence. I loved that she was very competent, very talented, very good at, again, dancing and singing, that she knows that she's good. I loved how she was speaking up for herself, fighting prejudice and fight phobia. I thought she was an amazing advocate. I wish I had her self-confidence, her poise, and her ability to, again, like, fight for herself. I think I have a little bit of that. Like, in some ways, I recognize myself a little bit in that standing up for yourself part, but I wish I had more of the confidence one. I also liked that there was good LGBTQIA+ representation. The love interest was a tad cliche for me, but at the same time, he was very sweet, very kind. I liked to have that kind of male character who's in touch with his emotion, talks about his emotion. He's not afraid of being vulnerable. I think that's rare enough to be noted. It very much gave me a similar feel to Heartstopper, for example, like that warm, fuzzy feeling, and seeing that relationship that is not toxic, because there is so much of that in just like books and TV shows and all of that, just like bad relationship representation, like things you would not want. In this book, the friendships and the love relationship was very, again, like positive, and I really enjoyed that. I think there was also an interesting conversation about Sky's relationship with her mother, who is very toxic in that case, who's like talking to her in horrible ways, and that kind of tension between, in a way, wanting what she thinks is best for her daughter, but at the same time, in practice, just being a terrible parent. I thought that tension was interesting, and I enjoyed the way it was explored, and again, the way that Sky was standing up for herself in that. I think maybe like the small things that I would criticize about this book is kind of tied to the fact that it's very YA, hence the plot being a bit predictable and things like that. But despite the cliches, the fact that it's very sweet and very fluffy, I like that it's talking about difficult and nuanced topics. I also appreciated that Sky, no matter how great she is, again, I loved her, is not perfect. She's fighting against fat phobia and prejudice, but at the same time, she also had her preconceptions about one of the characters because of his physique. So again, she's not perfect. She's also making mistakes. she's learning from them and she's growing. So that was also satisfying. What else did I want to say? Oh yeah, there were like a couple of abbreviations in the book which I didn't know what they meant, and that showed my age. I felt a bit old reading that book. But yeah, overall again, I thoroughly enjoyed it and I would absolutely recommend. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check the information about Mental Health May and the Asian Readathon in the description below. Let me know what you did for self-care this month. As always, thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye. So many cars. That's rush hour. A reality TV idol type of contest. Ugh. I also like that there were some good LGBTQIA. What a mouthful. What else did I want to say? What was it that I was saying?